How is it going, guys? Welcome back. Today is Thursday, April 16th. It is day 5 of the challenge and the first day of the exit phase. So we did make 13.85 and 80 cents on each account, which is great. We took one trade. It was a winner. Technically, I'll go over it later, maybe a little more than one trade, but this was the trade I took today and it was a winner. It was a long on Nasdaq, and I will go over why I took this trade here. So, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, right? I always start on the high time frame, as we know. We are getting close to the all-time highs, right? So, because of this, it obviously is making me inclined to go long because we want to get to it. That is our current drawn liquidity. So, that was key number 1. Number 2 is that we have this 4-hour gap here. And as we see, Nasdaq goes and like sweeps the midpoint, but starts to reject back up. ES even closes above it, so that's a good sign that it wants to reject and continue long. We go to the 1 hour, and 9 a.m. closes bearish, but again, it rejects this gap down here. ES, same exact thing. So it's a good sign here that we do want to continue further. Now, if I go to the 30-minute time frame, right, we're seeing it's just a repetition, same exact thing on each one. Now, the only difference I would say is that YM looks bearish, right? YM does look bearish, and I will say that, but I still had a bullish bias because of everything else, and I'm not trading YM in this case. I'm still trading NQ. Now, you could have had a good short in the morning, right, to take this down here, which would have been a good trade as well, but I was looking to go long. So, in reality, this wasn't my entry. My entry was there, and my original stop was there. My original take profit was there, right? So it still would have hit full take profit, but I ended up adjusting, and that ended up being my trade at the end. But basically, I entered there because we had this change in state of delivery here, and we had it on ES as well. ES also had the change in state of delivery above the 4-hour gap. So I waited for Nasdaq to close above the 4-hour gap, and then that gave me a good sign that Nasdaq's going to follow as well, and they are switching to bullish momentum. And so I entered my long there. I have my stop right below and my take profit 2RR. But the thing was, I entered in one full contract rather than 5 micros. So I was risking around 1380 to make, I don't know, 2600 or something like that. And I obviously prefer to risk 600 to make 1200, something a little less. That way I could take like 7 losing trades in a row before the account's blown versus taking 2 or 3 before the account's blown. I don't want to have that sort of pressure. So once we see this little pullback here with an SMT on ES, and then it goes right back above, I go ahead and switch it to my stop right below that, which ends up being just around $600 of risk to make $1,300 ish, give or take. And the good thing was that take profit was basically the midpoint of this gap as well. So it just worked out really well. So once I did that, it never went back below, luckily. And I actually, as a matter of fact, when it got up here at 1385, I went ahead and I moved my stop to break even right there, and just bounced right off of that London low and went straight to my take profit, which is great. So that is the trade I took, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys on TopStep how it looks over here. So let's see, how can I switch this to TopStep? I wonder why it's not let's see. There we go. All right. So TopStep here, you see I took the entry there. Originally my stop was there. Take profit was all the way up here. Adjusted it, closed up there. It was a 2RR trade. Let's see. I wonder why this is not showing. Entry price. No, entry price was 44.5. There we go. So 2RR trade, like I said. But as I mentioned earlier, this wasn't the only trade I did take today. If we go to Asia, I did take some trades last night, and I realized I should not have been. Let me even delete that. And I basically took like $5 of profit here and there, and right here $10. This was one trade. I basically had 3 contracts, but I clicked 3 times. Then I lost this trade, and then I took a trade to make back, and it was just there wasn't anything. It was like $5, $10. So it was a waste of my time, waste of my mental psychology. So I locked out the second I got that third trade. I broke my rules by even doing that, and so I locked out this, by the way, after I took that winning trade. But I need to make sure I stick to my rules. I only trade after, like, I trade New York session. New York session's what's good for me. I am not an Asia session trader. I think my win rate for Asia session is probably negative. So I need to make sure that I lock in and stay focused on my New York session trades. But that is what I did today. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the series. It is day 5. We took our W, thankfully, and we'll go ahead and continue the series and hopefully get our max payout. And um, if we don't get it by the end of the month, we'll get it mid-May for sure. So I'll see you guys then.